Well, look at the margin of advantage now that Gemma Steele has opened up on the Kenyan Purity Kimeto, who came here with the best of 71.52 as she beat Liz Yelling's record at the Great Eastern Run this year. Now she's looking to push past her course record, which she set, what, in 2011 when she won the race, 72.21. And really, at the moment, she could well be doing that. She looks good.
She looks great, and it's now Gemma versus the clock. She's ripped the field to bits, really. Kimeto's gone, and she's got a decisive lead, but more than anything else, she's now got her eye on the clock. She's looking at her watch regularly. She looks really relaxed, very determined. You know, these guys handle fatigue really well. You can see just occasionally as she runs uphill how hard it is. But they have miles of training behind them, great fitness, great preparation, great determination. And I really do believe Gemma is an athlete with phenomenal talent. And Bekele, who's in 5th place, Olympic bronze medalist over 10,000 meters, the guy who led for the first 30 minutes, is now beginning to drop, and that's ominous. And if the 4 guys at the front realize it, if they get their head down, they can get rid of Bekele. And Collis Birmingham looks like he's taking the initiative. He is an exceptional talent. It is so tough to win major medals, again, because of the African domination. But he's one of the best athletes around the world across a range of distances, and he's a wily old fox. I've seen him win races. I think he's good tactically, and he knows what he's doing. They're running downhill at the moment. Chris Thompson's still in contention. I still fear that Ayeko in 2nd place is the guy with probably the greatest unknown, but I think he looks the most comfortable. And obviously Abdi Rahman looks terrific on the right of the picture.
Well, this large field, let me remind you again, 20,000 this year, up on about 2,000 last year, and it's growing and growing and growing. Look at this, there's a real surge now by Thomas Ayeko, the Ugandan, and certainly this man who on the track over 10,000 meters has performed internationally, but really this is a real effort to break away from the rest, and all of a sudden the 3 find themselves 8 or 9 meters adrift of the Ugandan here. Sorry, David, you were going to say? No,
it's exactly what you said, really. We saw Collis Birmingham try to break the field and run a couple of 4 minutes 30 miles. Birmingham then decided he'd had enough, and Ayeko has taken over, but not only just taken over leading, he's now created a gap, and this gap could be decisive. For him, the next mile or so is crucial because he has to get away from the following 3. He has to break the field through Cannon Hill Park, because the opposition, Chris Thompson and others, will try to build and close that gap.
Yeah, well, it looks as though Chris Thompson is trying hard. He's left Collis Birmingham and Abdi Rahman behind. Birmingham's suffering a little bit at the moment, and Chris Thompson now looking to close that gap if he can. 9 miles, 42.44, just to give you an indication of 9 miles. 42.44 will give you about 62, just over 62. So that's evidenced by the faster last couple of miles.
Absolutely. Early on in the race, they were running 4 minutes 50. They can run 4:55 minutes all day long. But it's when they start getting down to 4:30 that you break the opposition. Gemma's looking terrific, and one of the great things about these races is that we see young talent emerge. Gemma emerged a couple of years ago, and you know, we still believe that she's got great things to come.
Yeah, well, she's between mile 8 and 9, and if we can get a reading on the mile situation, we can have a look at the pace on that. But I would think she's probably inside the championship record that she set a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, and you know, we've said it on a number of occasions that Gemma at this point will be getting tired. It is hurting, but she makes it look relatively easy. That great skill. And look at the gap now. Chris Thompson just moving into 3rd place, but Ayeko piling it on, and Abdi Rahman is taking up the initiative, trying to get after Ayeko.
Yeah, he is, and it might be that with Thompson and Abdi Rahman working together, that might be an advantage, and it might well close it. You never know, because there's that hill to come. It's a hill which will be challenging and testing, and how on earth will he cope with that? We'll soon see.
Well, you're right, Stuart. We saw it a few years ago when Haile Gebrselassie broke the field, but he struggled up the hill at the end. He won, but he said that hill was really hard. Now, Ayeko has to face that hill. He has to pile the pressure on now. try to do another sub 4:30 mile before he gets to the hill, so that even if the other two guys do begin to close the gap, they can't close it a gap enough to threaten his victory. I think at the moment he's looking very good though. Here's Gemma Steele through Cannon Park. She's looking great, she's looking comfortable, she's got the crowd. Again, she knows she's got the hill to come, but she knows she's done this before. She's won this race before a couple of years ago, and she'll be enjoying this. She takes a glance at her watch. She knows exactly the pace she wants to hit. Ayeko is well clear, comfortably running up the hill. Doesn't really look under any pressure. I'd like to pretend that he was finding this hard, but he isn't. You know, that's a really tough hill, but he's bouncing along quite merrily, and he knows the finish is only a mile or so away. He knows really that he's broken the opposition, and he knows that he's got a great future in front of him. These guys are brilliant over all terrains. They can run well over cross country, they can really run well on the road, but the real medals under the marathon are on the track.
I was just looking at that, the undulation. It was absolutely clear on that shot. You could see the hump of the road, so you're uphill, you're downhill, you're all over the place on this course.
A slight downhill and then another uphill, and you know, in a sense, if you're going to run uphill, you just want to get it out of the way, and the slight downhill almost disrupts your rhythm. Honestly, doesn't that look so comfortable? You know, an athlete on top of her game, really comfortable, flying along, looking at her watch, knowing that she's got the victory. But I think more than ever, knowing that she's really comfortable at pace over distance. She knows that she can crack out a really good half marathon. She can run at this pace and control this pace. And if she can make that transition to the marathon, then I think she's got really successful years ahead of her. Stay injury free. She's determined. She trains incredibly hard with her colleagues at Charnwood Club in Loughborough, and it's been a great victory. Chris and now Abdirahman are locked in a battle for second and third, and as I said, it's now a middle distance race. They're in the last 5 minutes. Each will be looking at the other, each will be trying to make sure that the other one feels that to try to sort of physically dominate it, but not give anything away. They don't want to look as if they're tired. They want to look fresh. They want to make the other person think that they've got no chance. But both of them will be thinking, when do I make the break? Chris is maybe just getting away again. Don't look behind Chris, just get your head down and go for it. 400 metres to go for him, coming up to 200 metres to go.
Well, this is, Thomas Ayeko of Uganda is really motored in the final stages. You can see from this that he's really got a good sprint finish, and so has Chris Thompson too, because he's now got a 10 metre, probably 8 to 10 metre lead over Abdirahman. But this is going to be a fine win by the Ugandan Thomas Ayeko. And this junior emerging into the senior ranks now, and it's really his second season as a senior, really. And he's coming through around about 62.5, 62.32 unofficial for this, and 62.33 the official time. And we're watching the second place coming through, and it'll be Chris Thompson, who's really motoring in the final stages. Look at that, he's digging deep, and he knows, little thumbs up. He's had to work very hard though to beat off the American Abdirahman. But this is second and third. Chris Thompson coming in, a big smile on his face. He's beaten off his opponent and done it well. He's got second place. Good run for him. 31 seconds down, so that's just 63. And Abdirahman just 5 seconds down. But what a good race they had, David. It was a fantastic race between these two, really.
They were neck and neck throughout.
Purity Kimeto came into the race, just to remind you, as a late entry in a way, brought into this race to challenge Gemma Steele. Perhaps Lauren Houth and Elle Baker were not in that sort of form at the moment, we know that, but this young woman came here and hoped that she could stay. In the early stages of the race, she tried to stay with Gemma Steele, but couldn't quite manage it.
She's a talented young athlete, and and I think it makes Gemma's win even more impressive, because Kimeto, I think, in the future will go on to greater things.
Yeah, I agree. This is not just about winning. She really wants a time out of this.
And she's running uphill now, but you wouldn't know it. And again, the athletes around the country who run at any pace. We know what it's like when you run up a hill, but Gemma makes it look so comfortable. She comes off the top of the hill, and running downhill she looks even better. She's not content to just win the race. She wants to pile it on.
She's looking
prepared
down
to
at
hurt
that
herself.
watch, isn't she? Constantly looking down.
And she's prepared to hurt herself, because she knows if she's going to compete in international competition in the future, she won't be this far ahead. She'll be in pain at this stage of a race with other athletes around her. So not only is she learning how to win, but she's learning how to hurt. And she's making sure that the pain that she feels at the moment is compounded. She wants to hurt. It's the masochism that you need to be a great distance runner. And Gemma's got it in spades, and it's really impressive.
I think eventually she will run under the 70-minute barrier. There's no question about that. Not today, but she will in the future do that. She's got the sort of determination. She's got the real desire with just 200 metres. Look at this, though. This is very, very quick. We weren't able to bring you the splits on her mile times, but I can tell you that is quick with just 200 to go.
She's coming up to 200 to go now. She's probably going to be just fractionally outside the 70. But when you think of the attitude that someone like Paula Radcliffe had, and Liz McColgan and Kelly Holmes, really it's fantastic that they have this sort of attitude. And the likes of Gemma and other British women distance runners are trying to emulate that, not just to win races, but win races decisively. And as I said, put themselves through the pain and the anguish that they need to do. Gemma's close to 70 minutes, which is a cracking time, a great run.
It certainly is on this day, and it's going to be a personal best. Remember, a best before today, 70.46 in the Great North Run. She's bettered that. She deserves it. She really worked hard at that. Very, very good personal best for her. 70.18 as an unofficial time, but that's brilliant. And she's pleased. She knows she's got a personal best out of that, and she's getting closer and closer to 70 minutes. And that has delighted her quite clearly. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Brilliant. There it is, Ayeko rather, 62.32, Thompson 63.03, Abdiram 63.08. They're the top three. Collis Birmingham finding life a little tough in the final stages.
Your first ever half marathon and a victory. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you talk me through the race briefly? Thomas, how was it for you? How did you find the course?
Yeah, I find the course is good, but the wind was disturbed. But the course is very good. Only the weather is somehow, but the race is good.
Well, there's the result. Gemma Steele, 70.19, in fact, rounded down by a second there. And Kimeto Kotowska, the first three, then Lily Partridge, Lauren Howarth, and Solovyeva and Louise Gardner in that order. But a dominant piece of running by Gemma Steele.
I felt fresh as a daisy, considering the hill, that was always at the back of my mind, the hill at 11 miles. I thought, oh, it's coming soon, can't get away from it. But yeah, hit the hill and came off it and just felt great, just felt like really fit, like I hadn't, well, not like it hadn't been there, but obviously just fired up off the hill and ran home.
A competitive men's race then, and a second Bupa Great Birmingham Run title for Gemma Steele, now establishing herself as one of Britain's leading female athletes on the road. Hot on the heels of this event is the Bupa Great South Run, the world's leading 10-mile race. Keep up to date on our website, greatrun.org, but in the meantime, it's goodbye from Birmingham.